Queen Anne. Numéro 7, Christian McCarthy. Numéro 8, Ivor Dent. Numéro 11, Charles. Numéro 12, Félix-Antoine Mescal. Numéro 13, David Titane. Numéro 15, Raphaël Samba. Numéro 16, Vlad Zimmer. Numéro 17, William Burker. Numéro 21, Elliot Howe. Numéro 25, Nicolas Bobot. Numéro 26, Madeleine Papa-Georgie. Numéro 34, Thomas Dubois. Numéro 35, Elliot Edouard. Numéro 62, Daniel Yard. Numéro 67, Terence Stephen Berlin. Numéro 80, Sam Moser-Gervais. Numéro 93, Yann-Éric Jérôme. Numéro 98, Emile Gagné. Les coachs, Marie-Hélène David et Marc Zimmer. Also, like to introduce the observers for tonight's game. Jonathan Nelson, Sandra Hansen, Glenn Ford, Dominique Shaw. We have to invite up the captains for Mischief and Titane for the district to start tonight's game.
Hey Nate, how you doing? Nice to see you, dude. You gonna pump out a highlight reel tonight? Yeah, good call.
Titane starting on defense. Mischief is receiving it and down here. I would now like to call upon Rob Clark. He is the scene of the national anthem. Very good. Yes, sir, we have everyone please stand to the singing of the national anthem.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Ultimate players and fans across the country. Welcome to the 2019 Canadian Ultimate Championships live from Edmonton, Alberta. I'm Kevin Underhill with Bobby Anderson in the booth, here to take in the first showcase game of our junior competition. Titane from Quebec and Mischief from BC. Bobby, tell us a little bit about this matchup before we get into it.
Well, we are starting off in power pools right away here in the Junior Open Division. This is the 2 and 3 seed that we have matching up. It's a little bit windy here. We just had the opening ceremonies, so it'll be interesting to see how these juniors can deal with that. There's a huge crowd in the stands right now. All of the other junior teams just marched with their flags around the whole field, so lots of spectators to impress. It's the first game of the tournament, and it looks like both teams are pretty excited to be here. So I think we're going to have a great game here.
Yeah, no doubt. Lots of hype, as I'm sure you can hear in the ambient camera mic there. It's both teams are sufficiently pumped up for this game. And why not, right? 300 people in the crowd, and all the teams, all your opponents, all your friends. And it should be a fantastic matchup. The 2 and the 3 seed, you know, neither team really knows that much about each other, coming from different sides of the country, Bobby. I think that's one of the things you notice definitely in the junior division. You don't really get that many chances to scout your opponents before you get to nationals. So a little bit of a guessing game, but it means you've got to trust your own process, trust your own strategies, and then see who adapts the best out on the field. We have Mischief in white, and we have Titane in black and gray on the left-hand side of your screen here. Titane from Quebec, Mischief from BC, almost ready for the action. There's the horn. Should be a fantastic game.
Fun fact that we received from Titane is that all of the jersey design was done by the players themselves, so they're pretty excited to be repping those all week.
Mischief in white, Titane in dark. Titane looks like they will be pulling. Observer Glenn Ford down there to pass the disc over and get this 2019 Canadian Ultimate Championships off and kicking. Titane's best result 2017, they came 4th. Last year, they came 5th place. Mischief. I don't think, have to double check this, but I don't think they've ever made the semis. So obviously a big start here to kick off this game. Be pretty important to. And what a pull by Titane right off the bat, and the crowd loves it. And we're jumping straight into it. Matthew Conder moves the disc upfield. Samir Titane looking at field. Nice cutting in the upfield there. Number 17, Ryan Graves, now airs it out. That one's going to hang up in the wind. Looking for his target, RJ Sevilla. 2 hands on the disc for a grab. Sevilla on the doorstep now. Flips it. Oyenart. And deflected smartly there. Nice D by Elliot Howe. Maybe just a little too chaotic there at the front of the stack, Bobby.
Yeah, that was a great read by RJ, and maybe just a little bit of excitement. We talked about how there will probably be some nerves in these first couple of points. Starting the tournament out with this many spectators, I think they just rushed it a little bit in the excitement to score.
No doubt, and as we watch Titane here work it up. Disc in the middle of the field, right on the front of their own end zone. Going into the teeth of the wind here a little bit. Kind of a cross breeze, but definitely upwind right now for Quebec as they miss-hit on the throw up the middle, and Mischief gets the disc back for their offensive point here.
Looks like there was just a little bit of a miscue. His cutter kind of turned away right when he threw that. And those are the kind of things that we're going to see in these first couple points. The teams just kind of getting their chemistry together and filling each other out.
Thomas Oyenard here. Nice upline movement there. Samir Titane. Titane looking upfield. Wants Oyenhart back. Good dump defense. Instead, he's going to air it out down the line. That's got eyes, and climbing up the ladder there's Ricky Tran for the goal. Ricky Tran goes up big. 2 hands on the disc. Brings it down. Nice grab there to kick it off. Mischief with the goal as he hung up there and made a nice grab.
Yeah, Mischief already, we can see they're not scared to put those bigger throws up. Even despite the wind, they've had 2 successful deep shots already. Turned it over in the end zone, but we're able to put some pressure on Titane to get the disc back, and that's a hold for Mischief.
Mischief leads 1-0. Mischief coaching staff here, Eugene Wong, Benson Yang, Samson Hoy, and Ari Niddickman out of BC there. Of course, Samson Hoy and Ari Niddickman playing on Vancouver's Furious George. Be participating in the adult division. This week's competition starting on Thursday, so definitely a lot of experience there. You know, it's always interesting to see how coaches can bring their playing experience into their coaching game. No doubt it makes them more valuable, and yeah, it's just interesting to see how it is. And then on the flip side, Titane coached by Johan Beryl and Mark Zimmerl, also known as Shaggy. Mark has been a long-time community member, an absolute legend on the field. He's going to be bringing his wealth of experience to this Titane squad, and we get to take a look at this Titane O-line for the first time. The disc is going to be centered to number 15, Rafael Salve. Salvez looking upfield, moves it to the far side. Guay with it now. He looks around, good pressure, no call. Looks like he thought about it, then retracted immediately. And that's a nice pressure block there by number 89, Colin Carino. Not sure if he got a piece of it or just pressured it, but instead, now we have Mischief right on the doorstep. An upline cut into pressure, loses his footing and just can't quite track it down. Looks like he might be a little banged up, but he's going to stay on the field. That was Colin Carino tracking that one down, just lost his footing as he was diving for it. Came up a little bit short.
That was possibly more his ego that was banged up on that one than his actual body. Nice grab there.
Great grab on the far side by Charles Guy. Hits it around, under pressure, big block there. Number 5, Alexander Kang. Everyone getting involved now in Mischief. They just seem to have a bit more energy here to start this game.
Yeah, they're doing a great job putting pressure on those unders and also on the handler resets, forcing Titane to make throws like that one.
They get the block right back. Little lefty over the top into the wind, just hung up for a second too long, and it was smacked away smartly by the Titane defender. Salvez with the disc now. on the corner. Tough spot to have the disc here with not much room to play with and a little bit of a heavy wind. Quick hit up the middle. Charles Guy now with it. Guy looking upfield. Disc now in the middle. Big swing out to the close side. Nice dump and swing execution there. Papa Giorgio has it. To the middle. Salvez. Far side. Nice movement on the far side. Barker getting it. Barker, big fake. Flips a little backhand up to Guy. Guy with it. Looking upfield. Nice undercut movement. Just solid movement up the open side here by Titane. Disc in the hands of Jerome. Now it's Salvez. Salvez to the middle to Guy. Guy and Salvez going to be the primary handlers here for your Titane team. Slow work up the middle. Nice break shot to the middle, but just mishandled. Mischief gets it back despite all that hard work by Titane to work it up the field.
Yeah, they definitely looked like they were settling down a little bit more on that possession. They were swinging it and using their under open cutters. Just unfortunately a little bit of a bobble there, and they give the disc back to Mischief.
Mischief punches it right back. A little bit of a punt there. And definitely the wind playing a factor. It's certainly more challenging to go left to right on your screen here, as Titane is currently going on offense downwind. Disc in the middle. Far side now. Gagne with it. Little over the top flip. Comfortably received by Salvez. Salvez looking upfield. Little upline. Cute little move there by Gagne to get it open. He's going to air it out. That's going to be going out the back. Can it be kept in? No, it cannot. Streaking Titane offender was going to the back of the end zone. And a multi-turn point here. We've seen quite a few turnovers already. Is that just the wind, or is that also nerves, Bobby?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. That throw especially, we can see the challenge that that left end zone on your screen is going to create. The wind is pushing the disc quite a bit further past the end zone there. So it's kind of an advantage to go downwind, but it can also create its own problems.
Mischief here cutting out of a vertical stack. Diving effort there. Couldn't come up with it. Now it's Salvez looking upfield. Salvez surveying his options at the front of the end zone and goes around. That one's going to hang up. Well received there. Titane answers the bell after a multi-turn point and cashes in on their downwind O. Bobby, a little sloppy by both teams, but eventually we have 2 holds by our offensive units and the game is on par.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot from Salvez. That was a great look, kind of a high stall count situation. He didn't have a ton of options and just floats it up where only his receiver could get it.
Yeah, and that's one of those ones where maybe, you know, he collected the disc off the ground before anyone was really ready to cut off the stack for him as they, you know, sprinted into the end zone to try to get the stack set. And then, you know, by that point it was already high stall count and Salvez was forced to go over the top. Definitely a well-executed throw, but, you know, that may be one where you're better off taking a few moments, letting the stack get set, and then try to run something off the top. But in any way you cut it, Titane answers. 1-1 now. Mischief in white. Titane in dark. Titane set to pull. Elliot Hilwar with the disc now. Hilwar just came back from Germany, where he played on the Team Canada Under-24 mix. So, you know, a youngster on that team and a veteran on this team. He's going to be the one pulling for this Titane defensive line.
There's a few players that we'll see in this junior division that had the opportunity to go to Heidelberg. I'm sure they'll be bringing that experience back to their teams.
Big huck here. Mischief right off the bat. That one's got legs, but it's up early. Nice defensive pressure. Titane. Looks like that was number 13, David Ferber. Elliot Hilwar with the disc, moving it up fields. Nice hands there. Dubois on the close sideline, into the teeth of the defense and into the teeth of the wind. Instead, he's going to look for Hilwar. Hilwar tracking it down. 2 T10 players in the area. Comfortably received. Elliot Hilwar maybe showing some of that experience and definitely no fatigue. He is leading this team to a break. Nice throw by Dubois up the line. Hilwar tracked it down. 2 of them in the area. Titane with the first upwind break.
Yeah, that was a great look, and we've definitely seen from both teams they're not afraid to put those longer throws up, and especially straight into the wind. That's an excellent throw for the break for Titane.
2-1, Quebec leads. And Bobby, when you get that valuable upwind break, it's always, bolstered if you're able to consolidate and get the downwinder. Often we say, if you can't get that downwind, then, was the upwind really all that important? But, I'm not sure if the wind is quite strong enough that that's going to play too much, but definitely a factor. And the Quebec squad's going to want to cash in on this downwinder as well.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit of the pressure's off you when you're the one that takes the first break. Kind of feel like you're a little bit more in control of the game, and then you can just hand it over to your D-line to keep the energy up.
See in the orange there, Mark Zimmerl, Shaggy, all-time legend in the Montreal Ultimate community. He's been a captain of previously Mephisto. He's also played Team Canada Open and Team Canada Masters Open as well. I mean, just a resume for days on that man, and I'm sure he's bringing his experience to these players every day at practice, and it's showing as the team is a little sloppy at the start, but they've started to clean it up, and they provide a pressure block in the backfield there, and it looks like Titane's got a chance to consolidate that downwind break that we were talking about.
Yeah, just a little bit of a bobble by Mischief there. It looked like he was kind of looking at his cutters before he caught the disc, and that leads to the Titane break.
Elliot Hilwar on the giving end this time, flipping that goal over the top for another break. Titane, despite looking a little sloppy on their first O-line, has charged out for 3 straight goals, and they now lead 3-1 over Mischief.
Yeah, this will be a good moment for us to see what this Mischief squad has. We were discussing before that these first couple points probably aren't going to be super telling about how the rest of the week is going to go. There's a lot of nerves and chemistry to work out, so this is a good chance for them to calm down a little bit and just get a hold.
Yeah, and this Mischief team is the third place team out of BC, taking third at regionals. A huge win at the end of BC regionals against Bonfire to take that third seed. So, definitely a lot of talent, a lot of drive. And, it's always hard to know how you stack up against the other teams in the country. Titane obviously coming out as the #1 team out of Quebec. And Bobby, when you go straight into these power pools, the games are so competitive right off the start. There's something to be said for some of those easier games that might lead you into power pools, into the bracket play, but jumping straight into the power pools, although the competition is better right off the start, you just have to be that much sharper.
Yeah, I like the setup. It just makes you dive right into it and figure out your mistakes right off the hop.
Condor now with the disc, receiving that floaty pull. Asking for something deep. Absolutely rips one right on the money. Nice track down there. Number 44. And they flip it straight for a goal. RJ Sevilla on the receiving end of the huck. Goes straight to the goal. And that was just Matthew Condor willing his team. He looked like as soon as he had that disc in his hands, all he wanted to do was huck it right downfield. He was asking for it. Sevilla provided the strike, and Mischief answers back, gets back on the board, and stops the bleeding.
Yeah, he definitely knew exactly what he wanted to do with that disc. He just needed a receiver to know what he wanted as well. Great read there on the disc, and then an easy flip into the end zone.
A little more about this Mischief coaching staff. As you can see on your screen there, you see Benson Yang and Samson Hoy out there with the defensive unit. Samson Hoy, longtime player in the Vancouver Ultimate community, played for Blackfish, played Team Canada Open under 24 in 2015, played Furious, playing on Furious George this year. So obviously a ton of experience there. Bobby, maybe you could talk a little bit about how important it is, to have these experienced coaches in the juniors division providing that sort of leadership to these young athletes.
I think it's really huge for the younger players to be able to see the accomplishments that their coaches have been able to go through and the experience that they do have. It's important for them to have someone to look up to and get that experience from, and especially someone that has that experience and is passionate about it, that they can pass it down. It's one thing to just have a lot of knowledge, but it's a whole other thing to be able to pass it on to the younger people in a way that they're also really excited about it.
Yeah, no doubt. Mischief with the pull here. Titane with the pull. Gets it just past the brick. Disc going to be in the middle of the field here with Gagné. Emile Gagné. Nice flat shot right up the gut. Dubois. Good cutting upfield. Hits Papageorgiou. Into the middle. Dubois swings it around. Nice dump swing motion here. Rafael Salvez with the disc. Salvez looking back. A little bit of pressure there, almost a bobble, but recovered well by Barker. Barker looking for the inside shot. Great grab. Does he toe the line? They say no, but instead flips it through. Easy goal there. Papageorgiou finishes it off. It's like that was Charles Guy with the nice toe the line grab under pressure. Tried to get his feet in bounds. Observer ruled he was not in the goal, and then he flipped it over for the easy goal.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of an adjustment there. Mischief was taking away all the deep shots, knowing that Titane was going into the wind, so leaving those under throws open, but Titane did a great job of using those unders and moving the disc across the field.
Yeah, that's one thing, you definitely see the stronger teams are able to move the disc laterally across the field, and when things aren't going well upfield, just being able to hit the dump swing option really opens up the far side of the field. And you saw Titane there hit a few nice undershots. As you said, they were a bit more available at this point. And then when things looked a little hairy, they just dumped, swing the disc, moved it to the close side, got that next look. Really nice, calm, comfortable O point there for Titane. They lead 4-2.
So we'll get another look at this Mischief O-line again. Their last point was a pretty quick huck and easy flip into the end zone. They have the wind again on this point, so we'll see if that's kind of their set offense or if they have a few more options in their playbook.
Disc in the middle of the field here. Oynart goes to the far side. Condon rips it. Point blocked and blocked in the lanes. Double block there for Titane, and they have half the field to go for another upwind break opportunity here. Elliot Helwar. Straight up field. Under pressure. Nice reception. Garcia. Great effort. Layout block, and it's going to stand. No call. Ryan Graves gets horizontal for that defensive play. Quickly picked up by Oynart. Oynart looking upfield. Goes around. Again, Condor holding it until he sees something he likes. Big layout grab there. Nice hands by A.J. Bacani. Bacani straight to the end zone and a fist pump to boot. Finished off there by R.J. Sevilla. Nice throw again, and as we see Matthew Condor starting to assert himself as the top hucker on the Mischief program, holding that disc, asking for something, and then his teammates know where to go.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the offense that we see going in that direction especially. They did a great job putting pressure on Titane to get that back for the hold. And, yeah, he just kind of floats it up there and waits for someone to run onto it. So great job seeing the field, and they get the hold.
After a couple early breaks from Titane, teams have both settled into a little bit of a rhythm here, and we have seen 3 consecutive downwind O-line holds, starting to get a little calmer, and just maybe those, like we predicted, a little bit of early game nerves here in front of a big crowd with a little bit of wind. Of course, live stream on. It's a bit of a new environment, distracting environment for some of the kids, but now it seems they've really cleaned things up a little bit, and we've seen 3 nice holds in a row from these teams.
Yeah, even the crowd seems to be a little more settled into the game. I think they also had some opening game nerves and excitement as well. Now everyone's just kind of sitting back and watching these two teams battle it out.
Mischief set to pull. If you're just joining us, this is the 2019 Canadian Ultimate Championship Showcase Game 1. Mischief in white, Titane in dark. Titane from Quebec, Mischief from BC. 4-3 right now for Quebec. So we join the action on the far side of the field here. Dubois with the disc. Back to the middle, Charles Guy. Guy looking upfield for Salvez. Rafael Salvez looking upfield. The lefty snaps it across the field into the hands of Barrow. Barrow looking upfield. Beautiful movement. Nice hands there on the far side by Salvez. Salvez looking around. Instead hits a snappy backhand. Jerome with it. Jerome looking back to Salvez. Salvez comfortably in control of the middle of the field here. Shoots around. Big blade to the corner. Diving grab. What a beautiful play there. Looks like that is number 34, Thomas Dubois, getting horizontal for that. But a high level of difficulty on that big around shot by Salvez. Bobby, what are we seeing here from Rafael Salvez as he commands the middle of the field for this Titane squad?
He is definitely making a name for himself here. We've seen a lot of maybe slightly unorthodox shots into the end zone. He's definitely showing he has the skill to make those around throws. He puts a lot of great edge on the disc, and Titane just doing a great job altogether, using their fakes and making great cuts to get into that open space.
Yeah, and their very first O point of the game, if you're just joining us, was a multi-turn, almost like a marathon point by Titane, but they managed to stuff it in, and then really since then they've been on a roll. They got 2 breaks, and then since then they've just been comfortably holding with that unit, that handling unit of Salvez and Guy, and then those cutters, Dubois up in the lanes, and then on the defensive side we see Elliot Hawar taking control. He's pulling every time, and he's the one picking up on the turn. So, a deep unit here on this Titane squad, and we'll just see if Mischief can answer. The other teams in this pool, Eclipse from BC, the number 1 team out of BC, and Ignite from Ottawa. That's a power pool here. They'll all play each other, and then it'll move into bracket play. So we rejoin the play. Looks like Titane's coming down in a little bit of a zone, sort of a rabbit wall positioning here. Mischief working the disc laterally well, not holding it for more than a couple stalls. Now in a little bit of a tight spot. Good movement here. Titane into the backfield. Quick little give and goes. Looking for something over the top, but the conditions are a little bit prohibitive. Instead, goes right up the middle. Just a little bit too far out of the outstretched hands there. That was Matthew Condor hustling that one down. Looks like the T10 zone paid off.
Yeah, Mischief having some troubles getting it off that sideline. You could see there were a couple of receivers hanging out over top of that cup, but just not able to put it over there. Maybe a little bit hesitant with the wind, and they forced the turnover.
Helwar with the disc now. Looking into the middle. Dropped there by number 21, Elliot Howe. Mischief a little second breath at life here, but looks like they're going to come up against that zone, which quickly sets again. Titane with the disc. Titane looking across field. Instead, flips to the close side. Oyenart. Back to Condor. Snappy flick to the far side, and just too much to handle for Ricky Tran. Fast breaking Titane have a chance here to break. Looking around. Instead, they're going to comfortably flip it back to Helwar, and Helwar hits the backhand shot for the goal to number 8, Fred Godet, who does a backflip to boot, and the crowd loves it, and so do his teammates. Titane opens up the first 3-point advantage of the game, and they lead 6-3 here. Upwind break. And let's talk about mixing it up with that zone. They came person-to-person coverage for the first 5 D points or so, and then a quick hit to zone and generates 2 turnovers.
Yeah, great move by Titane. You could kind of feel both teams settling into the game, and obviously that zone threw Mischief off. It really forced them into this sideline. They weren't able to move it off the sideline, and they forced 2 turnovers. The second turnover, a little bit unfortunate, just dropped disc, but I think Mischief will have to figure that zone out because I'm sure Titane will be coming down in it again.
Yeah, and like you said, it's just sometimes it's nice to throw a zone to disrupt the flow, and that it kind of felt like that was the objective there, and then it was a bonus to boot that they got 2 turns close to the end zone, and like you said, I'd be expecting to see another zone look here from Titane as it clearly flustered the Mischief players.
So Mischief will be going back into this light wind that we have. So we'll see they had a little bit of trouble downwind with the zone. So now they're going back into the wind, probably facing a zone again. So hopefully their coaches have some wise words for them to help them get through this.
Here comes the Titane pull. Big rip there from number 77, Verlin. It's going to hang just past the brick mark. Condor quickly covered, but nice shot through the middle. Now the disc is going to be quickly moved onto the far side. Fast and furious disc movement here. Settles into the hands of Titane. Titane moves it out to the close side. Carino comes up the far side. Disc is ruled in by the observer. Brendan Wu with it now. Bounces it to the middle. Nice movement. Mischief dealing with this zone. Smoothly, Titane. Quickly to the far side. Bounced all the way around to Condor. Condor, sharp shot over the top, and that's going to work. Very well handled there. Just took them a point to get used to that zone, and the quick disc lateral movement, and a nice shot over the top by Condor. Collected in nicely for the goal, and Mischief is back on the board. Again, stopping the bleeding here, but they're going to need to do something on D if they're going to want to get those breaks back, Bobby.
Yeah, that was a great adjustment by Mischief. They kept the disc in the middle of the field and didn't really let themselves get trapped on that sideline, and they just kept it moving, didn't hold it for too long. And then we see Condor also kind of making a name for himself with his throws, finds a wide open receiver in the end zone.
Yeah, we've seen him huck long a couple times downwind, and they're just, comfortably quarterbacking the unit as they move it up the field with Titane, and then hit that sharp blade over the top for the goal. That's that's good field management, and again, like you said, not straying too far from the middle of the field if they didn't have to, and quick disc movement, not letting that T10 zone get set up. We'll see if Mischief answers with a zone of their own, or if they're going to stay with person-to-person here. See Coach Samson Hoy walking off the field. This is our first chance to take a look at this Quebec O-line moving upwind, so maybe a little bit of a different look for them, and we'll see if Mischief can pounce on that. Richie Lee with the pull. That one's going to float down there. Nice rip all the way into the end zone. Just hanging in the wind. Nice pull. Salvez in the middle of the field. Big bid. And sure enough, a Mischief zone as well. It looks like a rabbit wall. Disc in the middle. Salvez faking. That disc just going to float a little bit too far and picked off. Nice defense there. And that was Richie Lee on the far side, just picking it out in front of Gagne's face. And then it floats around to the top, climbs the ladder just off the back. Exciting effort there as Richie Lee blasted one into the end zone. 2 chances for receivers to get it. But instead, it's Salvez to go back and collect it and give this T10 another chance to go upwind.
Yeah, I think they feel how much they need this break and maybe just getting a little bit too excited there with the disc back in their hands. Just a bit too zippy on that throw. Looks like Titane's taking a timeout here.
Salvez walks it to the line. Looks like they might just need to talk through some of the adjustments here for dealing with this Mischief zone.
Yeah, as we predicted, Mischief coming down in that zone, nearly picking off the disc for a Callahan, and we'll see if Titane can take a second and talk about this and how they're going to face this. It looked like they were coming down in a 4-person wall.
Yeah, as we take a break here, we've got a chance to talk a little bit about, the junior division as a whole. So we got a chance to watch the opening ceremonies before. Such a fantastic spectacle to watch hundreds of junior athletes stroll in with their provinces. Truly the division has come such a long way in such a short period of time. I remember when I had an opportunity to play juniors, it was mixed division, and I think there was 12 or 16 teams. Now there's, junior open, junior women, and just so many athletes representing all the provinces. It's such a cool transition, and the growth has been truly great to witness.
Yeah, it's amazing that we have that many more athletes getting the opportunity to play Ultimate at Nationals. I know that's where I really kind of got the bug for Ultimate, was at Junior Nationals, so it's amazing to see all these young people picking up the sport.
Quick timeout there. Observers keeping track of the time, and sure enough, the zone is going to stay set. Salvas with the disc tapped in. Titane moving it to the close side. Blasted through the middle. Georgiou with it. Sharp shot over the top. That one's going to hang in the wind. Tons of time for Dubois to handle it. Dubois with it. Wants something over the top. Not really getting many options back. Looks like goes around to the back end. Nice safe choice there to Salvas. Salvas through the middle. Nice job there. Number 11, Charles Guy. Guy out to Dubois. Dubois looking for something. Instead, hangs it up into pressure. Well received by Salvas, though, and goes to the far side. Barrel with it now. Barrel playing a little give-go there with Gagne and Salvas. Salvas wanting something in the backfield. Instead, shooting. Oh, nice big fake there and hangs it out to this close side. Papa Georgiou to the middle and just deflected there and just couldn't quite bring it in. And all of a sudden, Mischief is going the other way after great work to go the full 70 by Titane. Looks like there was an uncontested stall down on the far side of the field before the turnover. They're going to talk about it here. Depending on how this shakes out, it could go back into Titane's hands if it was a one-pass continue before the turnover. Looks like there's a contested stall, and they're going to go to the observers for some clarification here on the far side. That's Glenn Ford in there wearing orange. Disc is going to come around all the way to the far side. Have to see what the official ruling is here in a sec.
Looks like there's still a little bit of confusion with the players as well. Observers helping them work that out.
Looks like the disc is going to stay in Titane's hand after all that. Charles Guy with the disc. Papa Georgiou in the bail. Sort of a fortunate turn of events there for Titane, from a stall down and a turnover to a goal up line to Papa Georgiou. Sort of an anticlimactic goal, but Titane will take advantage, and they will take it as they lead 7-4 here.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting situation. There was quite a few passes that occurred between the call and when the rest of the players actually acknowledged it. But of course, with the continuation rule, the disc went back to Titane, and they make good work of it and get a goal out of it.
Yeah, and I think that's just a good example of where observers, who know the rules and can weigh in on what took place. I believe on the far side they did go to the observers, and it was ruled not a stall down for 10. And then as a result, it stayed on the next pass. So the turnover was null, and then sure enough, that offensive unit for Titane just played the upline shot there, and Papa Georgiou cashes in the goal. They're 1 point away from taking half. They lead 7-4 over BC's Mischief.
So now we have Mischief going back into the wind, potentially facing this Titane zone again.
They did a great job handling it last time, going upwind, keeping the disc in the middle, keeping the disc moving, not holding it for more than a couple stalls. Huge pull from Elliot Helwar. Hanging into the back. Beautiful pull. Disc in the middle now. Samir Titane with it. Looking out to the far side, a little give-go. Titane with the disc. He's going to like it. Ooh, pump faked. He had an option deep. Instead, he hits him under. That's Oyenhart with a huge vertical cut there for big yards. Oyenhart calling the contact, but staying with his receiver. That one's going to hang up and blocked there by Eloir. Now wanting it. Instead, comes up to this side. Fabriere with it. Oh, quick little upline move. Instead, Fabriere to the middle. Just through the hands there of his receiver. That was number 80, Sam Mohervin. Instead, Condor, you know that he wants to huck it, but he thinks better of it. Probably the right call with the amount of traffic that was downfield. Instead, looking for the upline. hanging onto the disc. Hits Oyonart. Oyonart now surveying. Person-to-person coverage with flick force here. Now it's on the close side. Titane with it. Titane wanting something upfield. Upline cut by Condor. Earns the space. Condor with a little backhand out to space. Layout. Big grab in the end zone. Number 89, Colin Carino, getting horizontal. As Condor throws another assist, and that is a beauty. As Carino looks a little banged up, but I think he'll be all right after a great grab there. That disc hung up just enough for him to track it down.
Yeah, great patience by Mischief there going into the wind. They had a couple shots where they looked like they were maybe going to throw it deep, made the wise decision of dumping and swinging, and then they had a pretty wide open receiver but made it entertaining for all of us, and a great grab there to hold.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where Condor caught the upline and just quickly snapped the shot out in front, maybe not quite evaluating that he had all the time in the world to probably set his feet and maybe throw a forehand there, maybe a bit easier. In any case, disc hung up just enough, and a great grab there by Colin Carino.
So some life from the Mischief team. We'll see if that great grab can fuel the D-line to get a break here and make this first half last a little bit longer.
37 minutes have elapsed on the clock, and the score is 7-5 for Titane of Quebec. If you're just joining us, this is the showcase game, the first game of pool play for the Canadian Ultimate Championships. It's the only game of tonight, and then the competition really gets going with tomorrow. Plenty of action in all the pools, and we'll be bringing you 4 live stream games, I believe, tomorrow, if not 3. And again, all week long in the junior division, wrapping up on Wednesday with semis and finals, and then going straight into the senior single gender divisions, Masters women, Masters men, and the men and women's division as well. So we see Mischief come down with a zone of their own here. See if Titane's O-line can handle it and go upwind to take half. Big over-the-top shot, really nicely executed. Instead, goes straight up line. Barker with it now. Barker going across field. A little bit of pressure, and in the middle of 3 Titane players, that hits the grass. Maybe couldn't decide exactly on what target he was going for. It's like Mischief's going to take the disc here. Fritz Remus. Remus walking it up. A chance for a downwind break here to extend the half. Disc is tapped in. Remus looking upfield. Has a cutter open. Nice little flip up line. Richie Lee here goes over the top. Disc in the middle. Now on the far side. Picot with it. Back to Rosario. Rosario into the far side. Picot. Looks like there's an injury called. On the Mischief side, might just be a cramp. He's limping as he walks off. That's A.J. Bacani. A.J. Bacani, he looked a little banged up actually after the turnover, but it looked like he was going to try to stay in the game, but it may be just a bit too much for him there as he limps off the field. Hard to tell if it's a cramp or a roll. He'll get a little bit of medical attention. Mischief subs in. Looks like it might be Ryan Graves who's subbed in there on the turn. In any case, Picot's going to get it tapped in on the far side. Mischief marching the disc downwind. A little over the top there. Blocked quickly. Helwar on the far side. Going up to Salvez. Rafael Salvez. Hangs it up and over. Great effort there by Charles Guy, but just couldn't bring it down. And this line that has looked so clean all half, showing a little bit of their first signs of sloppiness, maybe their first signs of nerves as they have a chance to take half here. All kinds of time and space for Graves, but just couldn't quite make it happen. Instead, disc on this side with Richie Lee. Lee looking upfield. Wants something deep. Settles for the under to Picot. Picot looking around. Nothing really there. An inside shot. Creative throw right on the money. And a quick snap, and it just hits Salvez in the back. Maybe not the most glorious block, but it'll be a block nonetheless as Salvez was tracking his check down and just took that disc right in the back. asking if he has a timeout left, calls a timeout. Titane's going to take it. Just a tired offense unit there, looking for a break, looking to get this ship righted as they head upwind to potentially take half.
Yeah, this is turning into a bit of a marathon point. Bit sloppy on both sides. You can see it seems like they want to end the point, so they're forcing some throws. We saw that one go right into the back of Salvez, and now wisely taking the timeout just to calm everyone down a little bit and take this to half.
You definitely see that as halves, the beginning of halves, the end of halves, the beginning of the second half, the end of games. You see teams just sort of trying to end the points, like you said, and that often results in some sloppier play. So I think the team that's going to come out with this point here before half is the team that can just settle it down and get back to business as usual. Salvez to check it in here. Rafael Salvez, sort of the field general, if you will, for this offensive unit for Titane. Mischief is set up with a 1-3-3 zone here. One on the mark, 3 in the wall, and then 2 mids and a deep. Ryan Graves patrolling the deep space. Little side stack that's going to have to get dismantled right away. Salvez swings it to the middle. Gagne all the way to the far side. Helwar climbs up and gets it. Elliot Elwar. Little sharp around to the middle. Gagne with it. This zone pressuring them back, but nice hit right up the middle. Jonathan Barrel with it now. Barrel faking, pivoting, looking for some options. Can't tell if there's a call. Looks like there's a call there. Everyone sort of stopped at the same time. Maybe a contact call here on the mark. Disc back in. Little over the top shot, Gagne. Now it's Elwar with it. Elwar has already shown his varied release points. Really nice fake sequence there. Opens it up and gets it right back. Bobbles it, but Elwar with it. Snaps it around right on the money. Beautiful throw there. Elliot Elwar with an absolute rocket of an outside in flick to the middle. And that was, again, on the receiving end, Marin Papagirju as he cashes in on his second goal of the first half. Titane takes half, 8-4 here. Bobby, maybe you could just talk for a second before we go to break about that final point and how Elwar took over and made it happen.
Yeah, we saw a lot of great things from him. Lots of fakes to move that cup around. We saw a great shot through the middle of it to kind of open it up. Then a bit of a bobble, great concentration by him to save that. And then just a shot right on the money into the end zone. And Papagirju has definitely made a name for himself as a receiver as well. He seems to be one of the handlers' favorite receivers and just always finding the open spots downfield. So I'm sure we'll see a lot more of him in the second half as well.
Absolutely, and we're going to take a break from the Canadian Ultimate Championships in Edmonton at the Ivor Dent Sports Complex. Titane leading the showcase game 8-5 right now over Mischief. We'll be back in a few minutes with the second half. Welcome back, Ultimate fans, to the showcase Game 1 of the Canadian Ultimate Championships Junior Division between Titane from Quebec and Mischief from BC. Titane taking half 8-5 and starting on O, going downwind. Bobby Anderson in the booth, myself, Kevin Underhill, as we're bringing you this Canadian Ultimate Championships action all week long. And a quick strike right away from Papa Georgiou for Titane, right on the doorstep. Wasting no time, flipping it up line. Salvez with the goal and a clean, clinical offensive point to start the second half for Titane. Bobby, maybe you could just give us a small recap of that first half, taking us through into that first point of the second half.
Yeah, the first couple of points of the game, we saw kind of what we expected to in this opening game of the junior division. A little bit longer points, some turnovers, some nerves getting to the teams. There were a lot of people around, lots of energy. We just had the opening ceremonies right before this game. So we kind of expected it to be that way starting out. Then as the first half went on, we saw both teams settle into their offense a little bit. We had a few back and forth points with some clean holds. And then the D's started throwing on some zone. That kind of shook the offense up a little bit. But Titane really figuring out how to move the disc around. We saw the emergence of a few key people, Salvez, Papa Georgiou, being one of their key receivers, as we saw him just open up this first half with another great reception. So lots of great things in that first half. Mischief still very much in this game. We saw some great offense from them in the first half too. They were able to work through a Titane zone pretty easily. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of adjustments they're going to make out in the second half.
Yeah, it really did feel sort of like a chess match in the first half, as the coaches were feeling each other out just as much as the players are. You know, you're seeing some of that person-on-person coverage, but then you see the zone flashed in there as well. Both teams just managing it the best they can. So we see Mischief's offensive unit here led by their star hooker, Matthew Conder. Quick snap to the middle. Nice inside shot there. Ricky Tran with it. Excuse me, that's Titane. Titane back to Conder. Conder looking deep as he's been doing all game. Airs that one out, and that's just too much. And again, number 9, A.J. Bacani, who pulled up with an injury in the first half. Looks like he's down and out again as he tracked that one down. You know, it might just be as simple as a cramp that keeps acting up on him, or it might be hurt hamstring, definitely in his lower body here.
Yeah, it looks like he's dealing with some cramping. We saw him limp off the field in the first half and come over and do some stretching. Obviously thought he was good to go for the second half, but you can see some frustration there as he's being helped out by one of the Titane players. Obviously not the start he wanted to his Canadian nationals, but hopefully he's able to do some stretching, get some hydration. And I hope this does not plague him for the rest of the week.
Yeah, you'd hate to see that. And again, you know, first game, never like to see a player go down ever, but, you know, right at the very beginning of their CUC campaign, you know, maybe has an extra sting to it. You know, I happen to know that a lot of these British Columbia teams took a big bus altogether to get here, and you know, I think it's 12 hours at least to get up to Edmonton from Vancouver. So a long bus ride, probably, you know, it's never good on the body. So perhaps he's just dealing with some of the results of that as he's getting carted off the field by an opponent and, you know, coaching staff. It's nice to see that spirit and sportsmanship there. That's number 62 on Titane.
Who we apparently actually don't have on our sheet, so sorry about that, but good spirit anyways.
Titane is going to have the disc here going upwind. Elliot Elwar walking back to collect up the disc. Played on Team Canada under 24 mixed. You know, has shown himself to be maybe the most complete player on the field here this afternoon as he airs that one out to the far side into traffic. Good effort there. Nice defensive play. Just as I was singing his praises through a turnover, but no doubt has looked like a very strong player for this Titane team. Disc now in the hands of Samir Titane on the far side. Looks back into the middle to Conder. Conder, sharp inside break. Beautiful throw and mishandled there by Carino. Carino had some sure hands in the first half with a beautiful layout grab, but just couldn't come up with that one. Elwar. Elliot Ewar moves it to the far side. And that's also dropped. Just some mishandling of the disc here. Condor with it now for Mischief. Condor hits Titane with a nice little upline throw, and then he goes all the way to the end zone. Blocked there nicely by Helwar as he comes screaming off the back of the stack for a poach help. Beautiful defensive play there as RJ Sevilla was striking deep and had space.
Yeah, great read there, and nice job with his body positioning too. Didn't get up in the receiver's body position at all, and just able to get his hand on the disc and gets the block.
Elwar moves it to the far side. Bobot with it now. Back to Elwar. Far side. Fairlawn with it now. Fairlawn looking back at Elwar. Nice little German pass to the middle, and he's going to air this one out. Has multiple receivers in the area. Collected for the goal. One-handed grab. Titane goes upwind for the goal, and that is huge as they now open up the biggest lead of the game and lead 10-5, cashing in on an upwinder there, Bobby. Again, Elliot Elwar, you know, he's going to have some turnovers if he's going every other, but that is an absolute rocket in the upwind end zone and cashed in for Titane.
Yeah, just right into the breadbasket of a receiver. He had tons of time to run onto that. Probably thought he had a little bit of defensive pressure going up high to get that one, but with these conditions and in a game like this, you want to make sure that you have that disc in your hand in the end zone.
Titane opens up the second half with back-to-back goals. Going downwind on O, just very, very clean. And then upwind multi-turn, generating some D blocks there. And you can see the bookends from Elliot Elwar as he gets the block on one end, goes every other, and throws the goal on the other end.
A little bit of frustration on Mischief's side, perhaps. They've had a couple drops, few in the first half, and we saw that one here in that last point, dealing with a few injuries. So probably not the start that they wanted to their nationals, but there's still some time in this game to figure some things out, work through your offense, and just get ready to play again tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of these power pools setup is these top teams, you know, they can really secure their spot in the quarterfinals with only a couple wins. So, you know, even if Mischief does fall, and I'm not saying it's over yet, you know, there's a good chance of staying in the bracket and giving themselves a chance. Condor now with the disc, and he's going to air it out. That one's got a lot of mustard, looking for Sevilla, and just again mishandled. It's like he's claiming he might have got that one off the. Definitely look down. They're going to talk about it, and I believe that's going to be a turnover. RJ Sevilla mishandled it as it fell to his feet. The defensive player Vlad Zimmerl, who was in the area flying by, there was a little bit of contact on the ground. I'm not sure if he was talking about whether or not he caught it off his foot, but in any case, the disc is down and in the hands of Titane. On with the disc. Back to the middle and another drop. That seems to be the hot spot for drops there, just in front of this upwind end zone. Disc in the middle, in the hands of Condor. Matthew Condor bends one out at the far side. Krzyzewski with it. Krzyzewski looking for Condor. Condor with all the time in the world right at the front. Snaps an inside flick. It's going to hang up. And out of bounds. Great effort there on the far side. Thomas Oyonart tried to keep both feet in and just slid just out of bounds. Glenn Ford was in the area as the observer had a great view, was right there, made the call right away.
Great effort there. We're seeing, especially on this end zone, teams forcing it a little bit, trying to put up some fancier shots than are maybe required. But right away we see Mischief get the disc back.
Oyonart now with it. Oyonart throws it into double coverage there as Fang and Graves were both in the area and neither really could make a play at it. Titane's D-line now has a chance to march downwind. Rosario with it now. Disc in the middle, on to Rosario. Nice hands on the far side. Short disc movement, beautiful play up the break side. Disc now all the way on the far side, an inside shot. Disc on the far side here. Little inside flip for the goal and a break. Titane accelerating here. That was Salvez flipping the goal right to the middle. Elliot Howe cashes in. And another break for Titane as they come flying out of the second half and now lead 11-5.
Yeah, great disc movement up that break side. They didn't really give the Mischief defenders a chance to set up or get a proper mark on, and they're able to just flip it into the end zone with that cheeky inside throw.
Yeah, and I think Titane's just brought that extra level of energy. You see Mischief's a bit deflated, head down, hats off. You know, they're questioning their play. And the Titane team, you know, although saw some turnovers at the end of the first half, have remained pretty constantly high energy, have remained pretty constantly supportive, and it's that type of energy that the teams that go deep in this tournament need to maintain, no matter if they're winning or losing.
Yeah, I've seen lots of good communication between the players on Titane too as well when they're on the field. You can see they're kind of communicating where they want cuts to happen and where they don't, and it's that kind of thing that will help you in the long run. This first game, you really want to feel each other out. There's not tons of opportunities to play all the time before Nationals, so this first game is a really good chance to get everyone together and figure out how you're going to play for the entire week.
Absolutely. Big pull here. We get another look at Mischief's modified O-line here as they're subbing in a few players as their offensive unit has been on for 2 or 3 in a row now. Disc nabbed on the far side. Jack McCall with it. Disc in the middle now. Samir Titane moves it to the close side. Ricky Tran airs it out. That one's going to hang up. Multiple receivers in the area. Colin Carino this time with the sure hands and scores his second goal of the game. Gets up early and picks that one off the top shelf. Nice throw there by Tran, and Carino brings it in, and Mischief answers just when we were counting them out.
Yeah, that one probably felt pretty good after the few bobbles in the midfield here. He was making sure that he got that one, went up and reeled it in, and Mischief, little signs of life here.
If you're just joining us on the live stream, this is the Canadian Ultimate Championships 2019 edition junior division. This is the junior open division in action on the showcase game. Score right now in this showcase game is 11-6 in favor of Titane. Titane from Quebec, Mischief from BC. And Bobby, you know, the flow of the game has largely favored Titane, but, you know, Mischief was right in it for the first half for sure. And it's just been that sort of steady offensive flow that's been pretty punishing for Titane, and it's just never really let Mischief feel like they could get into it.
Yeah, I think it's what you were saying before. Their energy level does seem pretty consistent and high. They never really seemed wavered when Mischief was starting to come back, and when they got a couple breaks, it seems like they are coming together at the right time and like they could really make a run in this tournament.
Absolutely, yeah. They've looked really strong. Here's this offensive unit, quarterbacked by Rafael Salvez and Charles Guy. Gagne, Salvez, and Guy running a little dominator here. Upline shot. Grabbed by Guy by Gagne rather, and then the disc just popped out as he was going to ground there. Condor playing a defensive point here alongside Samir Titane. Titane hits an upfield shot. Chu with it now. Sorry, McCall. Back to the middle, Titane. Far side, Condor. Condor looking upfield, playing a little two-person game here. Now it's on the close side. Mischief threatening this upwind end zone. Good undercutting. Ruled out of bounds. Just couldn't quite get his feet under him. Jack McCall as he climbed up for that one. Now Salvez has no mark. Smoothly moves it to the middle of the field. Guy and Gagne again settling into a sort of a dominator position. Now the vertical stack will get engaged. Instead, Gagne airs it out looking for Salvez. Reading it over the top. Nice block there. Jack McCall gets that back.
Yeah, I think they were trying to take advantage of the fact that Salvez was unmarked there for a while, so he did the handler strike, but his defense able to catch up and a bit of an errant huck to the end zone there.
Yeah, it looks like they had eyes for their superstar, and now it's going back the other way. That one's on a rope. Does he have enough in him? Great effort there. Fritz Remus tracking that one down but couldn't bring it in. Stretching for it, but not good enough there. Instead, Titane now taking their time, getting things set up again. Guy comes under Papa Juju, goes upfield. Salvez now. Salvez with the disc. Snap, forehand fake. Looks under. Beautiful leading throw out to space there. Jan-Eric Jerome with the disc. Jerome, little give-go there with Barrel, and he goes over the top, and that hangs up. Well read there. Titane cashes in. Condor just went up way too early, never really had an idea where that disc was, and just sort of took his time and guessed and went early, and then it landed safely into the Titane receiver's hand for a goal.
Yeah, I don't think any of the Mischief players really saw that hammer go up, and I think he was trying to be more of a presence and play some voodoo D rather than really knowing where the disc is.
That was Barker with the goal. Jerome with the hanger over the top, and Barker cashing it in. Just making a good read there. Again, you saw Matthew Condor come flying in to try to make a defensive effort. Never really found the read, went up early, just a little bit too early, and Barker was able to reel it in. Titane leads 12-6. This opening night action from CUC 2019. Bobby, we've talked a little bit on the top of the broadcast about this facility, but we were here in 2016. Now we're back in 2019. Obviously, this local organizing committee of EUPA puts in a great bid. A fantastic field site, beautiful fields. The grass feels nice. If you're coming later on in the week for the adult division, make sure to bring a little bit of bug sprays. The mosquitoes are up and hopping. But aside from that, just beautiful field site, huge, vast grass field site with nice facilities. It's just a great site for a championship.
And you can see the work that's been done by Ultimate Canada and the Ultimate Players Association. They've done a great job bringing in sponsors. You can see all of the signs across the showcase field here. There's Explore Edmonton, of course VC and Discraft, always a part of these championships. Their flags are flapping in the breeze now. That's kind of picking up a little bit. Looks like we did have an offside call, so that disc will come back.
If you just joining us now or picked up in the second half, these two teams in Pool B in the Power Pool setup that is the Junior Open Division. Top 8 seeded teams are all going to play against each other at the start, and then the bottom 2 finishers out of the top pools will play against the teams that come out scrapping from the lower brackets. As you see, Mischief shooting to the end zone right away. Graves unable to track it down. Provides more competitive games early in tournament, and it also sets up these exciting, showcase matchups that are a little more even. The score might not show even as Titane is doubling up on Mischief right now, but definitely competitive showcase game to kick off this tournament.
Yeah, tomorrow we will have some action from the junior women's division as well. There will be a game at 10:30, which will feature Mofo and Bonfire. Then we will be back at 12:30 with Vortex versus Toro, and then we will finish off our day at 4:30 with some more junior open action, and it will be Toro versus Vortex. So we will be here all day tomorrow as well. More exciting junior division action.
See Mischief there working an end zone set, looked pretty good until a risky shot floated out of bounds and was knocked down. Titane with a chance for another upwind break. Titane has just looked like the crisper team in today's game, Bobby. Despite some turnovers on both, going both directions, they've just been a bit more clinical and just had that much more execution, especially when it comes to end zone sets.
Yeah, I think we've seen a few unforced errors from Mischief, a few drops and miscommunications. I think if they can clean those up as the week goes on, they will definitely be it would be a bit closer of a match, I think, between these two teams.
Now it's Garcia with the disc here for Titane. Just a miss. That's a miscommunication there. Had his receiver there. Nicholas Bobot, who he thought was coming under, but instead peeled out deep, and he just couldn't quite reel it in. He snapped a blade right to the ground there. Now it's Mischief's Oinart looking upfield. There's a nice leading pass. Brendan Wu with the disc. Wu right on the goal, right at the front. Instead flips it back. Oinart. Oinart had an open receiver on the far side, couldn't hit them. Now the disc back in the hands of Wu. Oinart. Pump faked by Wu. Moving backwards here. Good pressure by the T10D in the stack. Not a lot of motion coming out of the stack. Oinart with a nice high release shot. Fosoy with it. Fosoy bending that one around. Is it going to stay in bounds for Graves? Great effort, but he jumped from out of bounds and couldn't hang on. And again, you see the discs on that far side just sort of hanging up a little longer than they would on this close side because of that wind.
Yeah, I think that's the end zone difference that you were talking about. The stack of Mischief cutters was just kind of staring at the handlers, waiting for them to make the movement. I think they'll want to clean that up a little bit as the weekend goes on.
Now you see T10 working out of a bit of a sloppy vertical themselves here. It just comes around to the far side into traffic, picked off there by Graves. It's becoming increasingly difficult to work it upwind here. Looks like there's a pick called in the stack. You see Titane working the disc, but just can't really get out of their own end zone, especially with some of their star comfortable handlers like Elwar, Salvez, and Guy on the sideline here for this point.
Timeout is called by Mischief. So a good call. This was kind of turning into a point of turnovers. You can see Titane trying to work it upfield, but I think the wind is starting to pick up a little more than it was in the first half. Those shots into the wind just a little bit harder, floating more, and perhaps feeling like they're wanting to finish this game out.
Yeah, and as we approach the cap here, I think we've played just over 75 minutes or so. At this point, it can be about load managing for these T10 players. They feel confident they're going to be able to wrap this one up. They're probably going to take care and not run their sort of superstar players as much, as they are going into a heavy day 2 and then obviously day 3 featuring the bracket. It just comes down to the teams that are deeper, the teams that go deeper in this tournament. And we've seen good play from the top stars on T10, and then I think we're getting a look here at some of their sort of mid-bench here. And these are the type of games that if they can close it out, it gives their star power a little bit of extra rest and a little bit of chance to feel fresher for tomorrow's action. So Mischief coming in on O in the white jerseys against T10 in the dark. Stack set up in the middle. Direct upline cut from Oinart. Back to the middle to Wu. Good back of the stack motion there. Calling Carino. Pick called. Graves looked far too open for that to be free. Carino already 2 goals to his name in this game. Has a chance here, right on the doorstep of the end zone. Goes around. Located there. Brendan Wu with the disc. Wu goes back to Carino. Carino looking around. And again, that Mischief stack, disciplined, but potentially too disciplined. There's not a lot of movement. Brendan Wu snaps an inside flick, and that's picked off there. Nicolas Bobot with the block. Looks like he was going to air it out instead. Thinks better of it. Moves the disc to the middle. Vlad Zimmerl now. Looks like there's a call. Pick called. Looks like the disc is going to stay in the hands of Zimmerl. Zimmerl having a small discussion there with Carino. It's going to come in. Stalling one. Zimmerl with the disc. Puts it out to space. Big block there. Nice read by Ricky Tran as he came flying in between two Titane receivers and got the block. Thomas Oyenart now looking directly upfield. Nice upline cut. And that's going to go for a goal. Eventually makes it happen there. It's number 26, Brendan Wu, jab steps and blasts up line, makes the grab, and ends a marathon point there. See if Titane can answer going downwind. Bobby, the wind was a little bit sharp at the beginning of the game. Then it was sort of smooth and not as heavy in the middle. And now we're seeing definitely it's tougher, trickier to go upwind now than it has been throughout the whole game.
Yeah, we saw Titane make pretty easy work of going upwind the first half and into the first part of the second half. Struggling a bit more now, maybe because they don't have their star throwers out there, but Mischief doing a good job putting pressure on the downfield cutters. They had a few opportunities to punch it in there. Their end zone stack might be something that they're talking about throughout the weekend, but they were able to punch it in with a nice blast cut from their handler there, so we'll get another look at their defense.
You'll notice, like we were talking about, Mischief's end zone offense, it's a little still, and I think there's that fine line between disciplined and not making enough attacking cuts, and they're maybe flirting with that line on the side of being a little too conservative. But it's nice to see a solid, disciplined stack at this age group. But at the same time, you need someone coming out of that stack to make goal cuts happen.
Yeah, it's very true. It's often the opposite that you see, that everyone wants to disc and is cutting. So they're definitely starting in a good place. You can see that disc was kicked up accidentally on the pull, so it will be brought back to where the pull landed.
Just had a set play there. Straight strike from him, just aired out right away by Salvez, but blocked off the back of the stack, and Mischief has a chance to work it up. This is Condor with the disc now. Big undercut into space. Instead, he's going to go across the mouth of the end zone into traffic, and a huge layout block there. Unbelievable play. Salvez gets it back and then quickly turned again. Thrilling action at the front of the end zone there. And there's another big huck, and that one's going to go for a turn. That sort of ends the franticness. That was a huge layout block by Salvez and then snapped into the end zone and was quickly turned over again. Smooth up open side here. Nice undercut. Barrel with it now. Just a little bit too far. Great effort there, diving effort, but couldn't quite hang on as he made ground contact. That was Gagne there, diving for that one. Had his hand on the disc, but again, it popped out when ground contact happened.
Titane definitely not afraid to put their bodies on the line here. We've seen them diving all over the field, defensively and offensively. Oh, and another little bobble for Mischief.
Gagne now with the disc, looking upfield. And that one's going to hang up. That one's received well. And as he's been doing all game, Marin Papajou receives that one in the air, cashes in, and the score is now 13-7. Jerome with the hit there, ending another kind of sloppy point, not quite as long as the previous point, but as we get near the end, maybe fatigue playing a role, and team's just trying to march it in. Titane does a good job there, eventually making it happen. Score is 13-7 in favor of Quebec.
Yeah, Mischief again, just looking a little bit dejected. Obviously not how they're wanted to start their tournament, but I'd really like to see them come out with some clean holds here. They have a whole tournament to go. This is a good opportunity to work on their offense, get some good momentum going into tomorrow.
Again, if you're just joining us, the other teams in this power pool, Pool B, are Eclipse and Ignite. Eclipse from BC, the number 1 team out of British Columbia, and Ignite out of Ottawa. Pool A will feature Mofo, Toro, Bonfire, and Vortex. Toro out of Toronto, Vortex out of the Fraser Valley, Bonfire from North Shore, Vancouver area, and Mofo from Winnipeg, of course. Looks like there's a small discussion here as Mischief starts on O.
I think the Titane player is saying that he may have dropped the pull there. He definitely did bobble it. I'm not sure if it hit the ground there, but the Titane player is calling it down, I believe.
Looks like they're going to use the observers here after a discussion. The observers agree with the Titane player, say it hit his leg on the way down. Looks like a drop pull. Titane going upwind with 5 yards to the end zone. Fortunate for them, unfortunate for Mischief. Elliot Elwar calmly walks towards the disc. Veteran poise and patience he shows during this game. Got the disc at the front of the end zone. Quick fakes. Wants something from the far side. Wants his bail now. Snappy around flick, and that's going to cash in. Nice shot there. Lestage with the goal. Beautiful throw from Tristan Leclerc-Vanny. Goes around. Nice shot up the open side, and Mischief hangs her head as they walk back down, potentially facing game point now. Titane doubling up on Mischief, 14-7 right now.
Unfortunate for Mischief there. No one ever wants to be the person that drops the pull, especially 5 yards from the end zone. That's kind of been how this game has gone for them. They've had some really good-looking points and then other points where they just have either miscommunications or drop discs. I think if they can clean that up, then they'll have a much better time tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. And again, T10 has looked like the crisper team from the get-go. If you've just tuned in on the second half, might not be totally representative. The first half was even, but you see a lot of the times, you know, the stronger team will elevate their performance in the second half, and T10's done just that. They've rode some of the hot hands of their stars, but at the same time, they've shown they do have the depth to be able to make a run here. And I wouldn't be surprised, T10, a 4th and a 5th at the previous 2 tournaments, would not be surprised to see this team push their way into the semifinals this year after tonight's performance. Pretty impressive so far.
Yeah, and we got a good look at their end zone set on that last point, and you could see the difference there as well. As we were saying before, Mischief stack pretty stagnant, whereas Titane, they had several cutters coming out of the stack, quite well timed, and it ended up in a goal.
It's like an offside pull there for Titane. I believe that's their first warning, so they will get a chance to pull again. Scratch that. That would be their second. So it looks like Mischief will start at half field with the disc. Pretty big advantage when you're going upwind, Bobby.
Yeah, a little bit of a gift from Titane there. We'll see what they can do with it.
Disc middle of the field. Mischief working upwind, has a side stack here on the far side. Looking to isolate someone out of the side stack. It's going to be RJ Sevilla on the back of the stack here. Looks like he's going to want to get ISO'd. Instead, they're going to do a handler motion. Beautiful upline cut. Now it's Sevilla. That was Samir Titane pulling it back, and now he's going to air it out. This one's got time and space. Beautiful reception there. Ricky Tran cashes in, and Bobby, Mischief punishing Titane for that short pull, or the offside pull, rather.
Well, that's exactly the kind of offense that they wanted to see. They've been having a bit of a tough time with this game, some drops and a dropped pull, a bit of a gift from Titane there with the second offside, getting to start the disc at half. But we saw a nice clean set from them. They started in that side stack, great cut from the handler position, and then just a great shot into the end zone.
Yeah, and that's a nice set play to start things off. If there's no poach off the side stack, and you see Titane push backfield to start, and then quickly blast up line, and there's lots of space if that side stack stays patient and disciplined, and there was all kinds of space, hung it out into the wind. Titane tracked it down and then found his target for the goal. Ricky Tran cashing it in there, made a nice continue cut. Sevilla was the obvious continue cut from the back of the stack, but he was almost too close because they gained so many yards off the initial throw.
Yeah, great patience there not to throw that. It would have been a pretty tight throw and a little bit hard to put that into the receiver's hands. You never really want to whip a flick into someone that's 5 yards away from you, so great patience from Mischief.
Now they're going downwind. Mischief yet to get a break in this game. No time like the present here, Bobby, as they're pulling going downwind against this star-studded offensive unit from Titane. A huge pull, though. That one's going to float down and stay in bounds. Gagner receives, looking to the middle. Guy with it now. Guy looking upfield. No motion from the stack. Airs it out. That's going to come up short. Good effort on the read there. That was number 17, William Barker, trying to come back and get it, but that flick just never had enough juice on it. Now it's Brendan Wu with it. Brendan Wu looking upfield. That's the sound of the soft cap, I believe. And that one's going to be aired out into the back corner. Connected for the goal in the first break of the game for Mischief. Coming at the end, Nicholas Chu with the goal. Ruled in bounds there. Nice throw by Brendan Wu. He just painted the back corner, and good footwork by Nicholas Chu to toe that one in.
Yeah, exactly what we wanted to see from Mischief at the end of this game. Definitely some signs of life from them, some momentum that can carry them into tomorrow, and really just make themselves feel a little bit better about how some of the points in this game have gone.
It looks like that horn we heard was the hard cap, ending this game 14-9 in the cap. Again, like you said, a nice finishing there, 2-point run from Mischief. They might not be happy with their complete performance, but definitely some positives to draw on. And Titane, a thorough performance start to finish. Very clean offense. It'll be interesting to see as they come up against the Mofos, the Toros, the Eclipses, to see if that offense remains clean, but very impressive stuff start to finish from this Quebec squad. They'll be very pleased with their starting off 1-0 in their pool.
Yeah, for sure. Great opening game of this Canadian Ultimate Championships in the junior division. We had the opening ceremonies, then this exciting game, and we will be back tomorrow with 3 more games, 2 games from the junior women's, and then 1 more with the junior open. We're excited to be here. Tune in tomorrow.
Yeah, just a final note on this game. Mischief going to be starting the rest of the tournament 0-1 here. Have a chance to get out of power pools, and if they are unsuccessful, then they'll have to play against some of those teams that come up from the bottom. Titane looks like a surefire team to have a chance. Pretty good shot at making it into the bracket, potentially looking semifinals. If we had to pick a couple of star players, definitely on the Quebec side, Elliot Elwar had 3 assists and a goal playing on that defensive line. He looked very comfortable, looked like potentially the most complete player in this game, I would say. Mm-hmm. And then star player on the Mischief side, a couple to choose from there, but Samir Titane in the backfield, very, very patient, very calm. Signs of brilliance there from him. So as we move forward, they'll be looking for their star players to take control, but also looking at seeing if some of that depth in the Titane side can ride them to a semifinal placement there. So from Bobby Anderson, I'm Kevin Underhill. UltimateCanada.tv. Tune in all day tomorrow for 3 awesome games from the junior divisions here at the Ivor Dent Sports Park in Edmonton, Alberta. Signing off. We'll see you tomorrow.